Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Hope we're all here and ready for this marathon event today. How are we all doing in chat? Well, in any case, with this first run, we have myself, Doit, on commentary. Likewise, we also have, well, everyone can introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Dragonite13. I'm also going to be on commentary for today.
Hello, I'm Xazu. I will be running this fun bingo.
And I'm Geene. I'm also running alongside Xazu and trying to beat him.
Alright, and so for this first one, it's a key item randomizer. So there's a randomizer generator that creates mod packs for this game. We're going to be shuffling items around and just going all over the place to collect things. It's also a bingo. The bingo mostly serves to just give an end goal to this all, and overall it's just going to be a fun time exploring things, coming up with silly ideas about how to approach these different scenarios. Alright, but I think with that, that's about it for introductions here today. We'll be talking as we go, and this first run, of course, will just be a bit on the light side. We'll have plenty of time to talk about Octopath in itself. So I think we'll just get right on into things and get started. Alright, are we all ready, runners and commentators?
Yep.
Yeah, let's go.
Alright, let's get that countdown. And you can count down in chat as well and chime in with anything you might be wanting to add. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, begin. Good luck, have fun, everyone. Alright, so to start things off, both the runners are starting Throne A1, and that's just actually a requirement of how the randomizer pack gets set up. Throne A1's also a really good start. There's a few randomizer settings we'll talk about as we go, but Throne A is a very powerful character with how the settings have been set up. And really in these first fights, it's just going to be pretty typical strategies. We'll see them picking up some items in chests and talking to NPCs you might not normally see in a normal playthrough, but overall, going to be pretty standard.
Oh yes, and immediately as well, there's this burning ribbon. That is an item that you get given to start off with in the randomizer, but we have a gentleman's agreement not to use it unless we have to do a flame section. We'll talk about flame sections later, if they show up. I don't remember if there's one in the seed. I didn't look.
Yep, so lots of little differences here and there for how these play out. But for the most part, it's again just going to start off the same. You might have noticed that they got a Shadow M drop on that first fight, and they've been picking up some chests here and there as well. All of that will help a lot in this first chapter, and then the whole world opens up and they'll just be exploring all over the place.
Let's see what is on the board in the meantime, just out of curiosity.
I was looking at that, and a lot of the goals are very approachable. More so than sometimes we get out of these things. Also to clarify, we're just going to be running the randomizer in this bingo for 2 hours, and whoever has the most goals at the end of that will be declared winner. There's no lockout, so both players can get the same goals, that's plenty fine. And they don't have to create straight lines, it's again just about the total goal count. Really, the bingo is really to serve an end point to these runs. If it was just key item randomizer, then and they had to do out some stories, then it could take any number amount of times. The bingo,
yeah, that would take a while. Yeah, to fully finish out the randomizer, it can be pretty long because the chain of events can be a little bit mean sometimes.
Yep, and to begin explaining a bit about what's randomized, items are randomized, and key items are also randomized, and those are each shuffled in their own pools. So a lot of what the runners are going to be doing in the game is going to locations that they know have a lot of key items, and then seeing what key items those let them do from there, and continuing through. There's a lot of locks and keys throughout this, so a certain chapter might require a key item, but you don't actually get that key item in that chapter. They're just going to be picking up as much as they can and figuring out what they're able to do, and just doing things as they come across them. They're also going to be picking apart all these small items from inventories of all the NPCs, because a lot of them can be really good, and in the early game they want some sort of initial amount of money to get them started, as well as just some powerful weapons.
Yeah, you gotta. Surely we'll get the BT dagger early this run as well, right? Surely.
Yeah, surely. BT dagger is always very nice. Alright, seems like Geene is the first into the actual manor here, proceeding with the chapter. Didn't do as many checks as Xazu, but each have their own strategies. Maybe Geene thought they had enough to defeat the boss and just wanted to proceed on into the post-chapter 1 areas. But still definitely checking some chests as they go. And we got an Ice M as well. Should be a very quick boss fight with those M stones.
My turn.
And that is Throne Chapter 1 for Geene.
And so
And immediately after the first chapter, just part of the randomizer settings, we give a bunch of characters, just to have a bunch of them. So let's see, we got Ochet, Temenos, and Hikari. And I might be a little bit ahead of what we can see on stream, but hopefully
I think you're a little bit ahead of me, even.
It is what it is. Alright, so now it's just a matter of exploring a lot of locations. Some key things they're looking for immediately is, well, evasive maneuvers, which they're going to need a Scholar license or Oswald for. The support skills on the jobs haven't been randomized, but the locations of licenses could be at any key item location, and likewise characters. You can recruit them just from a key item. All that is shuffled. There'll be a lot of silly things that you pick up in such strange places. Now, an early check is to fight the bandits here, so that gives normally Ali's bag, but it'll be practically anything with the randomizer.
Hunt or be hunted.
Now die.
Here, and now.
Eat this. All tidied up.
Look like a chapter unlock, Throne A2. Things go by rather quickly, so can't always catch everything.
I know. So long as the runners know what they've picked up, it's alright.
Yeah. Probably just check that as a chapter, and then of course that'll be showing up on the map
be your
if you ever need to check that.
My turn. Not this
Let's go.
time.
Another thing that needs to be unlocked is access to the boats in the harbors. So to start, the harbors are themselves locked, and you actually have to unlock those. It's just an extra key item that was thrown in by the mod itself, not a natural thing. But that kind of keeps us in one continent for a while,
Here I come.
having to explore things until things then open up in sequence.
You're open. Good. There's no need for flattery. It'll rest my
And once
soul.
you get that, yeah, that was Throne too. Once you get that, obviously opens up the number of checks that you have available to you in Logic massively, because you get a whole second continent, which is pretty huge for just the number of items and just the pool of things that you can possibly find.
Ready? Eat this.
My- it's over.
Here we go. And
Now die. Now it begins.
And again, these runners, they've done these randomizers a bit. They know locations that have lots of key items, and they just go straight to the NPCs. It is a little dependent sometimes on what characters you wind up having, though, and what path actions you have available. Also day and night, stuff like that. And of course, it's not just about the key items. We're also looking for any sort of items that might help. It should be mentioned, I mentioned Throne was a very good starting character. We've made all the path actions, the rogue path actions that is, that are percentage based, just guaranteed. This makes things a whole lot simpler. Instead of having to get level thresholds or worry about low percentages, you can just get most of these items for free and not have to worry about that. You can also soothe with just a grape, and all the path actions really are just freed up so that you don't have to worry about that extra bit of randomization. It just lets things go smoothly.
That's just a you know, a little quality of life feature from the randomizer itself that is just built into the mod. You can set it so that all the path actions are basically free. The other big quality of life thing that's in the randomizer as well is that there's expanded fast travel, so we can fast travel to any like dungeons or nice first try clerics. Yeah, you can just fast travel to any of the other kind of additional spots on the map that you wouldn't usually be able to in vanilla game. That's just been added for a little bit of extra.
And we've actually just gotten, with the first goal, 2 copies of a single job license. It was the dancer license. One of them was from Oswald Recruit, so instead of Oswald, they got a dancer license, and the other one was from the... crepe is the key item. It was for a quest, but it's in New Desta. And that's how a lot of these can go. Some of these goals will be basically just searching everywhere and picking things up as they go. And again, the goals are mostly just to give an endpoint to it all. Some of them, once they get a certain chapter, they'll pursue that because maybe it gives them more unlocks. Maybe they have a lot of chapters available and they'll go for specific goals that they see on the board. Some of them will be tricky though. I'd say 3 rusty weapons is unlikely to happen. Some of these chapters take multiple key items, which can make them more difficult. Rone Chapter 4 is a tricky one because it has 2 key items, as well as some other difficulties getting through that, and of course you have to unlock the chapter in the first place. But overall, I'd say the majority of these goals are actually pretty approachable. As soon as they can see the chapter available or have access to it, they don't have to worry about too many checks for each of them, so that'll make it nice and varied on how they can approach things.
I suggest you get out of my way.
Eat this!
Oh dear. How's that? I'm sorry.
Wait.
Oh shit.
Alrighty, we've seen a lot of splits on what each of the runners have been checking. There's some have checked and not the other. There's a little bit of a mix of how they go about things.
And that's going to be the case pretty much no matter what checks you end up going for. It's really just a case of what order you want to go for things in, especially in the early game when you have so much available to you.
My turn.
Oh dear.
That there's always going to be differences between which checks that each runner goes for.
Ready?
But they're still looking for something that can give them EM, either Oswald or a Scholar license. In the meantime, they're having to tough through some encounters, maybe throw some medium soul stones or whatever for these decently early game encounters. And of course, they are also looking for the boat unlock so that they can go to other harbors eventually as well. And the randomizer does of course have logic to it. It's all guaranteed to be completable.
Do be gentle. My friends.
More broadly speaking, just to talk about Octopath as a whole, if you are new to Octopath, we've got, well, as the name was suggesting, 8 different travelers going about the continent. Each of the characters have their own chapters and stories, and so in total there's, well, I don't know the exact count in this game. It's well over 35, I'd say, but tons of chapters, lots of different orders, and with this randomizer they can really do any chapter in any order, so they might be doing some rather difficult boss fights early on. For general strategies, you want to be relying on things that aren't level dependent quite often. So things like soul stones just do fixed damage and are a consumable item. There's also a skilled hired help, where you can pay money to do damage independent of your level. And then in this game it's actually pretty feasible to get some strong weapons going, especially of course with a randomizer, and do damage.
The hunt is on.
Cleaning time. Too easy. I take what I want.
Alright, it does seem like we're doing some Xazu shenanigans. I don't know if you want to talk about what Zazu's up to.
Oh yes, we are doing Xazu shenanigans. Right, so because of the way this game works with the fast travel unlocks, if you've been to a town for whatever reason, you get the fast travel point unlocked. So what Zazu's doing here is he's going back into a tavern and playing one of the chapter 1s for the other chat characters that has been unlocked in order to unlock the fast travel point for that character's starting town. In this case, he's going for Ochet, which is going to give you the fast travel point on Beastling Island. Which means that you don't have to get the boat. You can, if you do this, you can get over to the other continents without actually unlocking the Delta Harbor. And it's just a little gambit that Xazu likes to take instead of playing the game with the intended logic.
Yes, and again, there is a guarantee that boats would unlock, but maybe this shortcuts things or gives them an advantage. It's all a bit random there. And Xazu very often takes this gambit.
How's that?
Here we come! There! Eat this!
It's over. For the pride of Ku.
But it does mean playing through all of Ochet 1, which can be a bit of a time loss. But of course, it gets access to new items, and Beastling Village rather, has a lot of key items there once you complete the first chapters. You'll be able to pick up a few of those as well.
Guide you, or something like that.
Oh. I'll take.
We see Gina looting Clock Bank, lots of good items, just tons of NPCs everywhere. So it's a good check, even just for the item's sake. And there's also a few key item spots. It's nice to be able to do it when you have a Partitio story going here. Oh, but we did just find the Scholar license.
Yep. Which is pretty huge.
Yep, so that'll get EM, evasive maneuvers that is, which reduces encounter rate and lets you go through some screens without getting encounters, or at the very least, survivable through one encounter, so that unlocks quite a few things. And we still don't have that boat, so we're gonna have to explore a bit more still. We've got all of the area towards Montwise. We could go through Flamesgrace also has... Sorry, not Flamesgrace. Flamesgrace has some...
Why did they do that?
Yes, why indeed. And right near it is Borderfall, not Boulderfall. Anyhow, yes, there's lots of checks in the area still to do. But we are still looking for that boat license. Meanwhile, Xazu will already be on the next continent. Well, in a little bit at least.
Yeah, still just making their way towards that. Through, even. Chapter 1. But getting close to the boss here, so.
My prey awaits. Whoops.
And overall, they just do have to keep exploring, going through things. Obviously, they're on the same seed, so it's all balanced in that regard. Of course, there's different options in how they can approach things, and depending on that, one of them might get ahead. But overall, they just have to keep doing some checks. And the various altars for the various characters, you have to have the matching character still, but those also are checks in this, and we just got a merchant license, which is very nice for defeating encounters. If need be, we could even go to some high-level areas all the way through Merry Hills. Or perhaps even take on a chapter, which might be what Geene's up to right now.
Looks like it, yeah.
I'll take.
Now, we've talked a bit about how items are randomized, and we haven't noticed it so far because we've just seen some Chapter 1 bosses, but bosses are also randomized. So, perhaps normally, Throne Chapter 2 Father would be an approachable boss, but it could be any boss. Not any, it will still be a medium level difficulty boss. The Chapter 4, or Final Chapter rather, bosses all get shuffled together, and the earlier ones also get shuffled together. There's some thresholds to it. So it should be decently approachable, but it could be any of the other bosses. The other side to this is how the bingo board is set up. You'll see a lot of these goals will be a specific character's chapter or a boss fight. That's just to say that if you completed either of those, that will mark off the goal. It's a nice way of getting some variance. You can always guarantee it. If you have the chapter unlocked, you could go through the chapter and get that goal. But if you happen to cross that boss on some other chapter, then that also completes the goal for you.
And that also goes for the optional bosses on those squares as well. There's a couple objectives with the optional bosses. That is the same rule applies, where it's either if you happen to run across that optional boss somewhere else, that counts, but it also counts if you go to the slot of where that optional boss usually is in vanilla and beat whatever boss is there.
I will say we have quite a good party composition. Temenos at nighttime debuffs all the enemies, which is very useful. We've got merchant license. Most of these bosses are pretty good at this point, so long as we have the money to fund Spider Help.
I still have much to
I
learn.
don't think anyone's gotten a super strong weapon yet, so maybe we'll get to
Xazu
see
picked
something
up a
of that as well.
battle-tested bow a while ago, but that's it. That's all I've seen.
Oh, that's nice. Alright, we've got Carnivorous Plant. I believe is the Carnivorous Plant in this game.
Here we go.
Which I don't believe is a goal, unless I've missed it.
My blade sings. Where was I?
No.
Alright. But we'll be able to beat this boss, and after the chapter, it will also give a new chapter unlocked normally, which could be any key item,
Temenos.
which is what we're checking for the most part.
My blade sings. Here I come. I'll end. It's over.
Nice one, Hikari.
And this Carnivorous Plant is actually pretty weak. It's in waterways right outside New Delsta. It's a level 20 danger area, or maybe level 15, somewhere in there. So, in fact, Beast Slings on the higher health there might have been overkill. Oh, and we got the ship. So that unlocks the New Delsta Harbor. That's a rather important check. And that'll let us go to other continents, but it does seem like we're going elsewhere first. I imagine Flames Church is where we're going. It's a very nice one to check. You also technically want to check it early. So we mentioned flames. Flames are something to do with basically at the end of the game, where darkness invades land or is forever dark as it gets turned. And one of those can be in Flames Church, and that messes things up. You can't access things as easily when there's a flame in Flames Church if you happen to pick that up. So it's nice to get Flames Church done early so you don't have to deal with that. There are ways around it if you start a chapter in certain ways, but overall it wants to be avoided. So doing the Flames Church checks early is nice, and there's quite a few of them there as well. we do have an Octopath.
The hunt is on.
Oh,
Ready?
nice.
Which is a goal. Quite common that you'll see a Kate or Octopath, one of those rare encounters.
Next, and so it
So
goes.
not actually that bad of a goal, despite it being one that is entirely random. You take lots of encounters in this game. Here we can see picking up quite a few different checks. All these are usually side quest key items. Some of them even a post-game side quest. But there's some candles here, there's some... oh, I forget, I think it's toys. That one's a post-game side quest, lots of different things to pick up. We just got one elemental weapon, which is a goal, if we can match it. And yes, it's two same elemental boosting weapons. I guess we did already have one, so I didn't catch the first one, but that gets...
I didn't either. I'm sure it's correct.
Yep, there are 3 different fire boosting ones, or commonly 3 that we go for.
I suggest you
So
get out
those
of
are
my
pretty
way.
common, and that is, you know, just achieve that goal with.
Now
Wasn't one I was entirely
fighting
expecting to be completed, but if you just check a lot of items,
what I do.
then those are good. And there's in fact a lot of item-related goals, so definitely good to be checking as they have been. Ooh, we just got Shinjumanjigiri. And we have Hikari, so that is excellent. A very strong skill, an EX skill. It's an extra one from Hikari's post-game, basically. And does just tons of damage for no real good reason, it just is strong.
Very good skill.
So that'll be able to wipe out encounters. It's got an AoE hit to it as well. Should make good use of that.
Hunt or be hunted.
Now it begins.
Ready to be prey?
Cleaning time.
And we're now overlapping on some of the checks that we'd seen each of them do. Xazu getting first to Tropu though, which does have a lot of checks because there's a bunch of pearls there. But overall they're in a pretty similar state on what they've gone and done. Some explorations over another, but no one's leapt too far ahead on getting a bunch of chapters that they can chain together.
Let's play.
Over here!
My turn. Not this time.
Fire, burn. Easy. All tidied up.
Seems like they're both heading their way to Tropu. I don't believe either of them have picked up an extra character yet either. So we're a little stuck with whatever characters we're currently at, and the chapters for them. And again, those characters could just be anywhere. Some NPC somewhere could have a key item that turned into recruiting a character.
The hunt is on!
Here I
Very
come.
funny what the
Not this
randomizer comes up with for that sometimes.
Fire, burn. Who's next?
Now
And quite often there will be just some character that we never can quite find. Again, because of the settings, and characters unlock a lot of checks, and the logic makes it so things are possible, often you'll get some characters to start and their chapters corresponding so that things can flow smoothly at least. But sometimes there's just a character that is at the end of some long chain of events that you normally have to do in the randomizer to get to it, and it'll just never happen.
Yeah. I played through a seed to completion not that long ago just to do it, and in that case, that time it was Ochet, and it was not great. She was behind Throne A4. It was not fun.
It does seem like we've got Xazu heading towards Clock Bank, which is where we know the Scholar license wound up being. So that'll be a nice pickup for the evasive maneuvers. As far as goals that they currently have accessible, either of them could at some point go and get Behemoth. That's an accessible fight at the moment since they have access just to the fight itself. It's an optional boss. They're pretty close on breaking the bridge beneath the wall because they can access out in that direction. They would just need one more character who can bring an NPC along. There could be many options, I guess. Well, Agnia or Particio. And then a few others that we've seen pick up. But overall, we are just still exploring, which is how these tend to go. At some point, they will hit a bit of a critical threshold where they have lots of resources, lots of money, and they can just wipe through encounters and progress rather quickly. But still, they're checking all the NPCs for inventory. Maybe they'll pick up some key or some items that are in the goals,
Ready to be prey?
Ready?
and overall just develop what they have.
Burn. Who's next?
Now die! Here I not this time.
Now let's grab some food. Hunt or be hunted.
My fire. Burn. Bullseye.
You're open. Good. For the pride of Ku.
Currently heading out in the direction of Montwise, picking up the cleric guild's license check, and also he has 10 minutes along, so he'll be able to do the shrine or the altar there as well. Alright, so we just got a flame, and that was in Flame's Church.
Oh.
We're getting a reload, because sometimes we just don't want to deal with flames.
That's valid, to be fair. Particularly for the Flame Church one, because of the fact that there's a boss attached to that one, and you can't get rid of it unless you finish the boss. And that's just...
We did some of the checks there already, but there are some more.
Easy.
Now let's grab some food.
And that boss would be considered in the final chapter boss pool, so it could be any number of very difficult encounters.
Yeah.
little bit of freezing up on the side of it, but we do see the pretty pearl among all of that, and that actually lets us complete the quest, which is a goal. So yep, we're going right ahead and doing that.
Meanwhile, Xazu's gone back to finish out Throne A2 here, which we know that's going to unlock the ship, or the harbor even, which is nice to have, but also to note that he didn't actually go into Clonkerbank when we were going down there, just stopped in at the thief altar and then picked up the merchant license there and then left to go do the chapter. So he'll have to go back there if he wants. Evasive maneuvers.
We are seeing Xazu with a bunch of JP able to get boost start on a lot of characters, which has been nice. So despite taking longer to find things like the merchant's license, as soon as he gets it, he still has kept a lot of progress that he's been making.
Who's next?
Gets a little bit of a head start on that. Overall, everything they wind up checking just slowly builds up towards what they're able to do, and then eventually they'll get to a point where they don't want to check as many things, just to speed things along. But we're still not quite to that point. We still have a lot of areas we can't quite get around to, and many chapters not yet known.
It kind of snowballs a bit after a while with bingo. With the randomizer even.
Gentle. Oh dear. You're welcome. That's that.
See Hina in the
sacred flame guide you.
Water Sprite Shrine, or whatever it might have been called. Water Sprite Den, I believe. And that's just because there's a rusted weapon here, and those are key items, so those get randomized as well. Normally it's a rusted staff. We'll be seeing plenty of that in the run after this, all divine weapons. Oh, we got another scholar license.
I'll do what I must.
Cleaning time. Fire, burn. Who's next?
Expertly done, Throne.
And we finally see Gina exploring the western continent. And Xazu really shouldn't be all that far behind, about to get to that harbor unlock as well. And as large as a whole other continent seems, and a good place to go check, there have been plenty of checks where they have been. It's good to thoroughly explore things, especially since part of the logic is that you can get a bit done. Obviously, sometimes the logic is more difficult, it randomizes so that you have to do a long chain of events, but sometimes the more immediately accessible ones will unlock more things since they branch out from that. And we just got Agnia. Not quite in the normal recruit spot for Agnia, but right nearby.
It's close enough, right? That makes sense for her to be there. Xazu finally going back to Clockbank. Hopefully we get that scholar license here.
Another thing that's just a quality of life improvement for this randomizer is the formation menu is available from your pause menu anywhere. Normally you'd have to go to a tavern to swap out your party, but with this mod you're just able to access that party change from anywhere. Oh, we just got Partitio as well. Alright, plenty of characters. here we might start seeing working through some stories, particularly if they're on the goal sheet. Like Nia 3 isn't, but it also has a check immediately, so it's a nice quick one to go and do. Of course, anytime you complete a chapter in general, it doesn't have to be one on the goals, it'll still unlock some sort of key check. Because normally those would lead to another chapter, they might lead to anything with this. And anytime there's a boss to the chapter, then that also could roll and get you one of the goals.
Stand aside or fight.
Ready?
Here I not this time.
Fire, burn. Who's next? I take what I want.
Horse Rush has a lot of different key item checks, lots of jokes from Partitio's friends, and just some other key items here and there. And Partitio himself, which wasn't Partitio, we already have him, but it was the culprit's identity.
Partitio is the culprit. What? We do actually have Temenos Chapter 2 on the board, so that actually is important.
Oh, we just found the unlock for Temenos Chapter 2, so that'll be able to
Well, there you go. That worked out nicely, didn't it?
Yep, we might see, you know, waiting to get a harbor unlock so he doesn't have to walk all the way to Candlebrine. If he gets the Beasting Bay harbor, then can go there by boat.
Yeah.
Hard to say. Eventually, I'm sure we'll see the chapter get done. Oh, there's the BT staff. That's what mentioned in chat, yep. So,
It's
they
my
both have the
turn
BT
now.
staff.
I did it!
And so it goes.
It looks like we're specking out Hikari to build up some Shinjumanjigiri damage, or just overall survivability. At this point, we've got a lot of characters and quite a few things we can just go and do for chapters, so I think Gina's starting to roll through things.
I'll take.
On your guard. Here I come. It's over.
Seems like we're pushing through Hikari too. Now there's not a
My
goal
turn.
there per se, but it will still unlock something after the chapter. And the boss might roll
Here
to
I
something.
not this time. I'm sorry. Here.
And sometimes that's the plays that you just have to make.
You're open. Who's next?
Sorry to it's just a
I
bunch of
still
fights,
have much
so
to learn.
if we've got a good setup for that, then it can be an efficient chapter.
On your guard. Now it begins.
And we've got the Octopath from Xazu as well. I think on the same screen.
Oh, nice.
I'll end. It's
Oh
over.
yeah. Huh.
Now it begins.
Interesting.
There's no need for
Lucky
fire.
screen.
It'll rust my sword.
So I see in chat some questions about the bingo format. So the core of it is just a key item randomizer, which you're making progress and working through basically how to go sequence of events to event. The bingo is mostly to serve as just some specific goals as you work through the randomizer. You don't have to get a straight line, it's just going to be whoever has the most goals completed at the end of the 2 hours.
On your guard.
So it's a fixed
Here I
time
come.
sort of deal.
My blade sings.
We do give a little bit lenience on some sorts of things. If we're in the middle of a fight at the end of the 2 hours, then we'll be able to finish out that fight, but overall we'll just go on at the 2 hours, and whoever has the most goals by then
I'm sorry.
will...
I fight for my
We'll win.
My spear does not err. I'm not done yet. Now, for the pride of Ku.
But overall, it's just been a nice demonstration of what the randomizer has to offer, and bingo really facilitates that. Of course, if you ever want to try out some of these mods, there's a modding Discord for all these sorts of things. Randomizer is developed and published in there, so if you ever want to try out the randomizer yourself, you can run that. It just generates a new pack, and you add that in. Modding not all that
On your
difficult
guard.
with these games.
Here I come.
I do see the reset for the flame.
Xazu reset as well. You really don't want that flame.
Not a bad reset
Oh.
since you
Not
did
this
the autosave more recently, but
My turn.
Yeah.
Now it
The other thing that
begins.
happens as well when you get a flame is because of the fact that it sets the game into some weird kind of like final chapter state.
You're open.
It breaks the battle music,
I still
and
have
we don't
much
want
to
that
learn.
because the battle music's good. So
My turn.
There!
we've got a shark instead of dandelion.
Here I come. Come. Come on, take this.
I feel like I've seen this shark replace bandolin before. It's
Many thanks.
strangely reminiscent of the time I've done the randomizer with them.
Now. Come. For the pride of Ku.
And down goes the shark. Again, it's just swapping bosses that are same relative difficulty. There's just some groups that it puts everyone into and swaps around those.
yeah, it's basically just all of the mid-game bosses and then all of the late-game bosses. Xazu finally gets his first next character, with Agnia joining the party.
Let's play. Not bad. Fire, burn. Too easy. I take what I want.
Yep, and there's lots of different advantages to the characters. At this point, Xazu's already built up, I think, Temenos a bit with a staff to use Mystical Staff with, so maybe he's not swapping everyone out. Or he just wanted to unequip first before swapping. But again, there is a formation menu from the pause menu, so they can swap characters out freely.
Up.
And yes, to confirm in the chat there, V-Day is not in the boss pool.
Not bad. Not
Time
like
to
this.
shine.
Yeah, but we do see some post-game bosses, post-game in some sense,
Thank
post
you.
some final chapters at least. You'll get some of the flame bosses. There's a tower in after Hikari 5 that you can unlock, and there's some bosses from there. In fact, that's a really nice check. If you can get through Hikari 5, there's a lot of bosses in the chapter itself, and then afterwards you get access to the tower, which can do a lot of boss checks. So if you're really getting stuck on goals and you haven't seen them unlock at the very least, you can run that and just hope for the bosses to show up there. And often you would want to be doing those sorts of random or more random checks of bosses earlier than later, so that you can then design around that and aim for chapters that you haven't gotten yet. But we're still quite early, and again, we're just doing some checks, working through chapters.
And there's Particio for Xazu as well, so we're still missing Casti and Oswald.
I'll do what I must.
Ready?
It's my turn now. Sorry, even if I stumble, I'll get back up.
Yep, that's just a minor consequence of how they get recruited. The sprite doesn't show up. Basically, they haven't been fully instantiated, but it picks up pretty quickly.
May I have this dance? Alright.
Checking the quicksand cave, or quicksand jail actually in this game, is rather nice. It gets a boss check, and then also gets you a key item from the normal rusty axe that is there.
I'm getting all fired up.
Oh.
Time.
That's the snake charmer. That's on the board.
Very nice. Yeah, that's one of those bosses you don't see as often, especially in a speedrun.
Let's get to work.
It's one of those tower bosses that we were mentioning earlier.
Now then.
This one shouldn't be too bad. Again, for these fights, you're having a whole lot of variance in how you have to set up and approach them. Quite often, hired help or strong attacks will work, but you have to know some weaknesses and have some general tactics to weaken the enemies.
My
I'm
friends,
just getting
I've
warmed up.
failed you.
Yeehaw! Let's do it. Let's get to work.
Cleaning time. Hang in there.
Sorry about that. Yeehaw! Let's do it. Let's get to work. Bring it on.
definitely some tough
Let's
enemies,
get to
and that's
work.
why we want to do all that resource gathering at the beginning, so we can have plenty of
Ready.
money to spam hired help or find some strong weapons.
Yeah.
Here we seem a little bit of a struggle because they buffed their defense, and yep, they've wiped the team out there.
Yeah. That is a really tough boss, in fairness.
But it is a goal, so we'll see if we're going to have another attempt at it. Sometimes you just have to, once you know what the boss is, go back at it, set up a little bit better going into. Despite these bosses being somewhat considered post a final chapter, they're not as strong as some of the other post-game or final bosses, so we do have them in the pool here still. So it's just a tricky boss. It might require some tactics, but overall should be approachable. And with hired help, a lot of things can just be broken through with a bunch of beastlings and events if you really need to. But we are trying to save a little bit on money, so find some efficient damage here and there. We do have 2 merchant licenses as well as Particio, so we've got plenty of merchants. We'll see how this goes.
Well, time to get down to business.
My prey awaits. Nothing personal. Got it.
Ready? Hang in there.
Thank you kindly.
Prepare your. Not this
Here
time.
goes. Let's get to work.
Prepare yourself. I fight for my friends. Come.
Ready? You're open.
We've got the break. Done some damage already with beastlings. Should be a pretty good
Let's get to
situation
work.
for the fight.
My time's
Solid. Put fire. Burn.
Here I come. You're open.
Wahoo! Now go earn it. Now let's grab some food.
There's the peace ship. Xazu's going to Candlebrine finally.
Oh.
Alright, and they're both in Candlebrine, possibly both doing Temenos. A little bit of alignment there.
I'll take.
We are approaching the halfway run of this. Again, we're just having them go for 2 hours, and then we'll finish up and see how many goals they've got there. It would look that Hina's got a little bit of a lead on goals, and maybe some other progress, but Xazu's also done some checks that Geena hasn't yet, and maybe Geena will have to decide to go check those and waste some time there. It all can balance out all the checks or progress and give some knowledge. This will be a guaranteed goal when they complete Timnos 2. And then also the boss itself might randomize to any number of other things, and it'll also unlock something after the chapter. It's always good to take these once you have them unlocked. I think they're both just waiting on getting a good moment to go to Candlebrand. You still see quite a bit of picking up of various items just throughout, and yep, although we've done a lot of that, it just takes one boss to chew through a lot of resources. It's good to do it, and of course if you do get some strong weapons, then that can help you out immediately and help carry throughout the rest of the run. It's both short-term spending and also some long-term investments if you can find right items for it.
Now fly!
It's the other shark.
Yep, so here's the battle-worn shark. The other one was in fact the one inside the cave for a side story. This one's the one that is on the sea. I think there might have been some mix-ups of those, but yeah, we've got a battle-worn shark, which is definitely the tougher of the two.
I shall be your opponent.
Cleaning. Fire. Burn. Too easy. And so it goes.
I will accept only victory. This is very well. You won't be needing that.
My turn.
I think they're both going to be trying to do a lot of damage without hired help here. They're just going to be
Not this time.
aiming to do some strong hits. I've seen them set up a few different characters, which have some strong hitters. Of course, some hired help damage will be used, but they can also save the money.
Bring it on.
Alright, scratch that a little bit, but
Yeah. All hired help.
sometimes you have to be afraid of sharks.
Ready? We're just getting started.
Prepare yourself. Here.
Sorry, but I will storm rage.
I think despite having Shinjumanji Gary, we still don't have a good weapon on Hikari, so might get the damage into that. Opting for throwing magic spells with the double fire and battle tested staff has been pretty good. Although I don't think both fire weapons are on, but still good damage.
My turn. Not this time.
Bring it on.
Fire, burn. Too easy. All tidied up.
It does seem that Geene has forgot. Oh, nope, never mind, just corrected that, but the goal hadn't been marked off for a moment, but we're all set now. Alright, it does seem like they're both heading to the same location from different directions, but this whole branch of the area has got some nice checks. They don't have castity, so they won't be able to do the altar, but they'll probably tag it in case they need to work back to it later. And overall, this direction's just got some nice things, and also some of the goals. This crop revival could come up and be relevant. I believe they also have Ochet chapter 2 Acta, so that could be a nice quick chapter to get the check after that. I might be misrecalling.
Hey, a customer.
Red. Fire, burn. Who's next? And so it goes.
We've seen that on a few occasions where Xazu's been thorough about tagging locations. Again, they have that fast travel anywhere sort of situation with the mod, where they can fast travel to dungeons or just map markers that are significant.
Might. Not this time.
So Xazu there tagged the altar,
Easy. I take
or the
what
apothecary
I
altar that
want.
is, and we'll be able to work back there if we ever get castity, because that'll be a check. Ina, meanwhile, did not go and check that. Although the Cataracta chapter or the Acta chapter isn't on the goal lists, it's still a nice quick one. There's not a boss fight to it, but that also means it's faster. They're able to pick up the rainbow bottle here, or what it turns into, along the way. Some nice conveniences, and again, any chapter they complete still gets them a check.
My prey awaits. Nothing personal. All right. Now let's grab some food.
Now, the Cleric and Thief 1 check, as well as all of the other, like, Dancer and Warrior 2 is also on the board. Those refer specifically to the Crossed Paths chapters, that are also just randomized into the pool of chapter unlocks, along with everything else.
I'll do what I must.
Right. Come on.
Fire, burn. Who's next? And so it goes.
Cleric and Thief 1 we're just gonna have to try and find the unlock for. It's not a boss, so you can't get it other ways. We already have the characters, and I don't believe it has any key item checks in the chapter, so it's just a matter if they can find that key at some point. It'll be a nice quick one to do. It's also a very convenient chapter in that it can actually disable the flame. If you've activated the Lance Church flame, and don't want to have to deal with that, then you can actually run that chapter and you'll still be able to interact with NPCs that normally go away during the flame.
It's very funny, a little, strange, like, unusual little case that happens.
So the finish line is actually just at the 2-hour mark, and then from there we're just going to be checking who has the most goals. Just to keep things nice and bounded. Again, it's also just a general demonstration of what the randomizer does. Oh, interesting, we didn't see Xazu complete Technia 2, I believe. They have the theater ticket, or at least I know Geene does, so... maybe Xazu didn't have it at the time. Just went for the check. I would also take this moment to add something that we've been requested to mention. It's that Agnia 2 is Geene's least favorite chapter, and this is very important for everyone watching to know.
Important information. Agnia 2 bad.
I see a comment about get lucky break on buying the ship. Well, the ship buy for one isn't going to cost much in this, because in the randomizer we do make things cost different, just to make the path actions more free. But also on that note, Geene's actually speedrun that. There's a category boat that exists, and we'll be running that later today. And in addition to that, Geene's actually gone and gotten a lucky break on the boat itself, as there's submission for the boat category on the speedrun leaderboard.
This one's on me to ride.
That's really
Prepare
good.
yourself. Xazu good for the pride of Ku.
I'll go back. Yeah, that's another tick there for Xazu. Just picked up Al's bag, and the Traveler's Bag side quest is on the board, so that's another objective there. Turn in that side quest. Or not.
I suppose,
Huh?
or not.
Stand
I don't know.
aside or fight.
Or not.
Fire, burn.
Maybe that was something.
I take what I want.
At least I thought that was Al's bag that it said there at the dancer shrine.
Yep, the dancer's...
It was, yeah.
Bag, yep. Just double check
Okay,
that.
now we're going back there. Just wanted to do
I wasn't
some.
watching super carefully, but I think Geene actually just walked by the dancer altar when he was passing by it earlier, which is a little unfortunate.
Hey, the customer.
All right.
Fire.
We've got another rare encounter, a filtered gate, and it's gone.
Oh,
Oh, I see. Xazu went to go do all the shop nonsense in Canalbrine to pick up the earring so that you also turn in Inventor at the same time because efficiency. I see.
Yep, an extra
This is
walking.
this is one of Xazu's trademarks. Is maximum efficiency.
Can't go doing the second screen of Clock Bank before getting Partitio chapters. That'd be absurd. Perhaps we'll see Geene stop by the Dancer altar this time through. I suppose he's going towards Timberrain. But yep, also getting the altar. I suppose for dodging encounters it would have been better the time he went to the quicksand jail. Just because you can dodge an encounter when you go that direction from the altar, but any combination gets you in there in the end.
Let's get...
The randomizer does also randomize key items for side stories. Basically anything that's marked in the game as a key item, it all gets tossed into the same pool.
Yep,
So-
and it even includes licenses and character recruitments as well. It's a whole mess of things. But rather conveniently, we're not moving things in the complete item pool, it's just the key items that get shuffled, so they know they're going to need those key items, they know where those checks are, and so they can go specifically for them. Which is a lot of side quest story locations quite often. But sometimes that also means you just get a lot of checks, and it just gives more variance to how things can play out. And I suppose also, alongside key items and character recruitments, there's also chapters are considered in the pool. So unlocking a chapter, that's in the pool of key items. Also when you complete a chapter, that'll get you some sort of key item. Might not be a chapter unlock, but it could be something else. Those are all shared together.
Well, there's the Cleric and Thief 1 unlock on Xazu's end, out of Partitio 3, or 2 even. That is Partitio 2. I'm smart.
Yep, so you'll be able to complete that and get a goal, as well as some other check at the end of it. Actually, 2 checks from this, since it comes with a key item.
Stand aside or fight. Now it begins. Not this time.
Fire, burn. Who's next? And so it goes.
I shall be your opponent.
Time to shine.
I will say the Chapter 1 items are completely untouched, so
Easy. I take
the key
what
items from
I
that at
want.
least. That, of course, is primarily so you can guarantee get through a Chapter 1 when you're entirely limited, but it's also so that they don't have to play through the Chapter 1s as well. So there's not going to be any shuffling of key items into those Chapter 1 areas. Although the normal items still get shuffled
I'll
around,
accept
so
only
Chapter 1s
victory.
can still be something where you can pick up some strong items and make them a little different.
Time to shine. Lion dance.
My turn. We're just getting started.
Here I come. Not this time.
Yeehaw! Bring it on.
Can't end. Oh, I guess.
Let's get to work. Come on.
I'll end this. Come.
Playtime, storm, rage. Who's next? Cleaning time.
Here I come. Here.
My audience awaits.
Yeehaw! This one's on through. All in a
Now
day's
at around
work.
2/3 of the way through the run, kept things pretty well balanced as far as progression goes. Having picked up just a few things on the item side of things, the Pearl Hunt and the Elemental Boosting. And then that one extra boss, which Xazu is very likely to check at some point, all things considered. On the board, we can definitely get Behemoth and Break the Bridge. And possibly some others that I'm not seeing, but overall I think we've made some progress towards Throne A Chapter 3 Mother. And maybe a few other things.
Where was I? You won't believe that. That's all. Okay, now die. To do be gentle.
I take what I want.
I didn't catch exactly which dagger Xazu's got on, or I guess possibly a good dagger, but it could be other things. But he's definitely able to just wipe out some encounters with the dagger dance. Very nice quick skill. Throne A often first in turn order. If you have it at night, even better. Surprisingly, we haven't seen a whole lot of Shinjumanji-Giri action. We are still missing Oswald and Casti. At this point, we have exhausted a lot of the easier checks, all those character recruits, starting town checks. So definitely gonna have to commit to either going in certain directions for just a few more checks, or working through some chapters. Overall, they're both in fine situations though. I'd say we're a little low on the total number of chapter unlocks, so maybe a lot of them are chained together. But also not too concerning. If they need to, there are some goals that don't require these unlocks at the moment. Which might be the direction Gina's heading in for Behemoth. Seems possible. There's also a few nice checks in the Nameless Village, so probably gonna tag that on the way. Although with the fast travel, you can just warp to the
I
Behemoth
shall
skeleton
be
anyway.
your opponent.
Cleaning time. Fire, burn. Who's next? And so it goes.
And again, for these goals, although it doesn't as explicitly say it on the goals for these optional bosses, just defeating where the Behemoth is spawned that counts
Here
for the
you
goal.
go.
You're too kind, Temenos.
It's pretty
My
similar to
turn.
how the chapters work. You can either do
I'll
the
take
chapter
this.
itself or the boss. So even though Behemoth is going to be randomized to any number of other bosses, you'll still count for that goal.
Bring it on.
Prepare. Come. There's no need for flattery. It'll rust my sword.
Is Behemoth in the late game boss pool? I want to say it is.
Yeah, quite possibly. It's definitely a strong one. It takes 2 vets and a beastling unbroken.
Time to clean up the filth.
So I'd say it's definitely final chapter. That sounds right.
Too slow. Clean.
We could see any number of final chapter bosses with this
All
next one.
tidied up.
Yes, it is in that pool. I've looked into it. There's a few optional bosses that fit into that. Some of the tower ones, some of the flames bosses, or just a few of the other miscellaneous optional bosses.
What to
Alright, we've got Heaven Wing, which isn't a goal in itself, but just yet another strong optional boss. And we'll get the Behemoth goal. Yeah, we've had a few momentary freeze-ups. We'll see if it resolves.
do?
Alright, seems fine.
Yeah.
Potentially. Bosses like these, you really have to be prepared for anything.
My
Again,
turn.
these are bosses we don't often see.
Not this
So
time.
make sure you have good break options, and just some general debuffs. Seems like
Take
Heaven Wing's
my
gonna get
status
attacking.
spot.
Go for leg hold trap, but he's got a good plan.
Let's get to work.
Yes, especially
Here
when
I
that
come.
plan is
I'll
beastling.
end this. Come.
Yep.
Cleaning time. We're just getting started.
Where was I? Here you
I
go.
owe
I won't back holy light. Illuminate the darkness.
Sorry, but I won't hold back. Storm rage.
Let's get to work.
Here. What is this? Hienka! Pre. Come. I still have much to learn.
And Behemoth also guards a key item. This is normally Rusted Axe. And it's another flame. Tranquil Grotto, not too bad, it's out of the way. And he's not going to be able to conveniently save reset here. Because that would undo the Behemoth progress, technically.
That is unfortunate. Gotta just deal with it now. There is actually another funny case with that, just because it's specifically the that flame that was triggered. There's another strange case where if you get to do
Showdown.
Egnia Hikari 2,
Burn.
the battle music temporarily comes back while you're doing it. Even if the flame is triggered down there.
Yeah, there's lots of little quirks like that that the game doesn't always expect, because you're in the middle of normal chapter as well. Something post-game is
Let's
sort of
play.
happening.
Here go. Bring it
Prepare.
on.
Not
As a
this time.
consequence of how the mod winds up working.
Who's next? All tidied
Because
up.
we do lack battle music on Geene's side now, but the battles are short anyways. And it's just for the random encounters only. And here we have a dark screen, and we mentioned this at the very beginning, but we do allow spurning ribbon for the dark screens, just because in this endless night the encounter rates are super high, and a bit obnoxious. It also can really be extra punishing if you do get those flames and somewhat get hard locked out of things if you're in the early game still. So we just allow for spurning ribbon in these scenarios, and then we have to make sure we take it off on any screen that we're not in a flame. And they did pick up the shiny mirror key item, which is needed to complete these chapters. So anytime they get these flames, they can technically complete them, although some of them do have bosses. And they also need the corresponding characters.
Oh, that is a boss to encounter on Xazu's end.
Definitely among the toughest bosses that you can get in the final chapter pool. We don't need to defeat this, so I imagine Xazu's just going to be out of here at this point. It's just replacing Heaven Wing, which isn't a goal in itself. But sometimes it's nice to check those optional bosses, just because they might roll into a boss you need. For instance, if Claude had been there, then that would have gotten a goal. So just taking those quick checks are always nice.
Howdy there, friend.
Oh dear, I think
Here,
not.
bring it on.
Fire, burn. Too easy. And so it goes.
So that is considered a boss fight, the ruffians or thieves that you get in the hideout. Not always a useful one, although it can show up on goals. Yeah, it's a nice, quick, easy one anyways.
And that did get the Dancer Warrior 2 unlock.
Yeah, that has 2 key items. I
Or-
haven't paid close attention. if
That
they've gotten those.
that
Or
has
3.
3 key items,
Yeah.
yeah. So we probably won't see that chapter actually get completed. But it can be nice to run down there and, when you have Hikari Chapter 5 unlocked as well. You could consider running down towards that. Because obviously you can just... That's 3 checks also within Dancer and Warrior 2. Even if you can't complete the chapter immediately.
We're starting to get some Shinjumanji-giri
Howdy
action.
there, friend.
And also yet another puff.
Fire, burn. Who's next? I take what I want.
Good objective to put on the board, apparently.
Yeah, in the context of a randomizer, it's not all that uncommon. It's the free space in the middle of the board, of course.
Oh. Well, I thought... Oh.
Oh, maybe we are going back.
I'll take
It's a nice 2 checks, and of course we've seen that this is a goal, so that'll be nice. A tricky boss, but Xazu should have a bit more equipment than Geene did have at the time. Geene making his way through Ignia 2. It's not on the board, but it could randomize, and of course it's a nice check. And these are basically any middle chapter pool. You can see some, even though this is normally a pretty low level, danger level chapter, it could still roll into some later chapters. Not a final chapter, but still anything. It's always good to check these things.
I shall be your opponent.
Ready?
It's my turn now.
There we go.
Soft fire, burn. Too easy.
Xazu
All
possibly
tidied
taking
up.
a little longer for trying to not spend too much hired help money. Maybe he's low on money, or maybe he just wants to use Xinju, because Xinju's fun.
Shinju is fun. You can't deny that.
What to do? We're just getting started.
It's bye-bye.
Bring it on.
Prepare yourself. Here I come.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Ready? As swift as a snake. You're too kind. Playtime is oh, storm, rage.
All right. It's my turn now. Here you go.
Thank you, Agnia. Storm, rage. Who's next? And so it goes.
That's really good. Yeah, when you have the skills randomized and the animations don't work. It's good fun.
It does appear that Xazu's trying to commit into Hikari 5. Again, that's got 3 different bosses in the final pool, so good odds that you could probably roll Dulcinea or the Claude fight, which are goals. And then afterwards it also unlocks the tower and some other conveniences. But of course it is a bit of a boss gauntlet, enough to be prepared for any number of bosses and have plenty of resources for them.
I wonder what we'll see. It's the train.
Fortunately, train's not too bad to defeat. Health pool's pretty low, consistent with higher health strats. You might even see some abating orb get used in this fight. So it'll likely come up plenty in the single stories. So there's a glitch called Abating Orb glitch, and you can also do this with Forget-Me-Not herbs in Concoct. Each of those have the effect where they remove a buff on an enemy, or on the target. And final bosses, as well as a few other cases, have an effect on them, which prevents them from being killed. They'll survive at 1 HP and run some dialogue, so that you always see the dialogue. But they implemented it as just a buff, which was a little silly. It doesn't show up on the enemies, but secretly it is a buff, and you can actually remove it with a baiting orb.
Nice poison tick kill. That was cool.
Now it begins. I fight for my
Poison tick killed. It had 1 HP left because of that survival buff. It could have been removed with a baiting orb and killed without having to break, but the poison tick worked plenty well. And even if there wasn't poison, you can just poke it once. So long as you survive its unbreak attack.
The show must go on.
Ready?
We'll be seeing plenty of that in the single stories. Sometimes it's a little hard to fit it in when you're not
I
ready for
take
it.
what I want.
But it really is just as simple as using a baiting orb anytime during the fight, or at least prior to hitting that barrier of making it survive at 1 HP.
Let's have ourselves a showdown.
My turn. Fire, burn.
It's my turn now.
Ritsu just in the next room over, but
Yeah, you're supposed to be outside, buddy.
Let's get to work.
Not this time. I fight for my friend. Good.
What to
There! Now then. It's
yes, I believe that to be correct on the chat questions about the glitch. It will prioritize visible buffs. I mean, otherwise it'd be
All
very apparent
tidied up.
for anyone who is messing with the glitch trying to remove buffs. But yes, if there are no buffs, then it'll remove that, for sure. Now often when we're writing it in, the boss doesn't buff prior to being broken, so it's not a concern. But yeah, if you ever want to try it out, you just have to use it at some point in the fight when there's no buffs. Now, of course, in practice, it doesn't give much of an advantage, it just makes you, let you go past that 1 HP threshold. Sometimes it gives a little bit of glitchy effects in certain fights. Skipping dialogues or between transitions can cause some weird effects, but overall it's not too much use in practice because you can just hit them for 1 HP afterwards anyways. But we use it all the time in speedruns, and it certainly can help certain strategies for survivability.
Let the show begin.
Cleaning time.
Partition. I fight for my friends. Come. There's no need for flattery. It'll rust my sword.
I'll see if Xazu can handle this fight with Shinjimandrigiri well enough. Didn't bring hired help into the Dark Hikari fight. Oh yeah, that's good Shinju damage. That should be fine with just a bit of that.
Here I come.
Alright, I think this is Dulcinea's normal phase 1 got rolled to the phase 2. So we're gonna get that roll regardless.
Cleaning time.
But we'll have something else to see in the
Here
second half.
goes.
I suppose that also means we already know Zazu's not gonna get Dulcinea out of the next fight he's in, but maybe he'll get Claude.
You won't be needing that. Try this. What a voice.
I will say for the goals where you have to go and actually defeat a boss as the alternative to completing the chapter, if the boss has 2 separate phases, completely separate ones, which is the case for Dulcinea, you'd have to be defeating the second phase version of it to mark it off on the goals. Doesn't matter in this case since we were going to get that anyways.
And no Claude on Zazu's end.
Here we go.
For a true friend. I fight for my friends.
Quite the fun
Come.
music theme for Dulcinea too. Seems like we were hearing a bit of it.
It's showtime, Dulcinea. Forgive me.
Playtime is over. Fire. Burn.
Let's get to work.
Did see, use evading orb, so we actually are able to push past the
Time
end.
to
Normally,
divvy up the earnings.
it's not actually that significant for the phase 1 of the Dulcinea fight, whatever it might be. But it transitions past it. Ever so slightly, they just cut out on one animation there, really. Yes, that was Dulcinea in the first slot. And yes,
I love Randomizer.
Leviathan not on the board, but
Let's slow the tempo.
definitely a strong fight for optional
Cleaning
bosses.
time.
Here goes.
It's got quite a huge health pool. I think it takes something like 4, that's more or less, maybe 3. I think 3 is more accurate. Definitely want to make sure when you break it that you've got plenty of boost points in good turn order. It doesn't do a whole lot for a while though, it has this whole countdown
My
system
turn.
to it.
Not this time.
Definitely a strange one.
I'll end this. Come.
Seems like we're doing a bit of beastling damage to it as we break it then, so that'll help a little bit.
As swift as a snake, you're open.
There's Xazu rewarded with a flame and a tinfoil.
Eat this.
You're incredible, Throne. Here you go.
I owe.
Well, we do have around 11 minutes. The question was when we hit the 2-hour mark. Everyone's being slowly going by. place. After the Leviathan fight, at least, Geene will be able to mark off the Dulcinea goal.
Time to shine. Ready to do whatever I set my mind to.
It'll be a rather difficult situation to recover in Xazu's case. I mean, two of those are just finding items. Geene was a little more thorough in certain ways. Picked up the rusty weapons and elemental boosting.
Come.
So the 210 is... Ah, yes.
Agnia.
Yes, that is nasty. I see what we're saying now. But we are cutting it off at the 2-hour mark, just to be clear. If they are in the middle of a fight, though, then we do let it run out. Although if they lose the fight, then they don't get the
Hang in
progress.
there.
I appreciate my turn.
Had an almighty all-over or something along those lines. Seems like might be able to recover this. A lot of shields to get through still. But yep, definitely a tough fight. All these ones that you don't see as often are tricky ones.
We're just getting started.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Now then. Let's slow the tempo.
Fight dirty. My turn. Not
They
this.
did just
Now
get
it
special bait,
begins.
so he could get a goal with devilish. Devilishly delicious dish.
Done.
Or no, sorry, yeah, that wouldn't actually count as to completing the goal. I was just thinking the optional boss, so that actually doesn't quite
What
cut
to
it.
do?
Because the drop would be randomized as well.
Hang in there.
I appreciate it, Throne.
It's my turn now. Here you go.
Thank you kindly, Agnia.
So
Tissue.
they could get Behemoth if he wanted to get that goal, but I think he's going to opt for Tower if I were to guess.
The show must
Definitely
go
a
on.
good play at the end here. Just see if you can roll into some of those bosses we haven't seen. We can get some Terra. We could get the Sand Lion. Lots of things possible. Raime also would be in the pool for these first fights, and then the final one could be a final
My
chapter boss.
friends, I've failed you.
Oh,
So we do roll into
Okay.
a convenient fight. And this will also, if he gets up to it, Tyrion the Seeker, when he actually beats the boss that gets replaced by
Here
that,
I
which
come.
isn't this first one, I believe. Or no, this would be the first one. No, never mind, that's a later one in the tower. But that will also count off on the goals, so there's a bit to go for here.
Here.
I believe Mother has a survivability threshold thing, so evading orb might have been helpful there. Forgetting the exacts on each of the bosses. Oh, never mind.
What to do?
Okay, so that's another goal for Xazu, and since that's completely done for a fight, he doesn't have to get through all of them, he can mark that goal off immediately. Whereas for Hina, since Dulcinea Phase 2 is part of the 2 steps, you do have to make it through each to count the goal off. Basically be in a state where you can technically save your progress.
Hang in there.
My
Got
audience
me all
awaits.
riled
Now
up
then.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, he also picked up the grapes as well, so
that was one of the items out of the Crosspass 2 here.
Not bad.
Here.
alright, only one goal difference at the moment. Hina will be getting Dulcinea possibly soon. Or maybe not much more than that.
Bring.
Wonderful.
Darn. Darn.
Don't see another death to Dulcinea too. These are definitely tricky fights. I think Hina's got enough money, but if not, he might be after avoiding using up things like vets, having to set up debuffs more often. And 8 shields to chew through is not the easiest.
You're too kind.
My. Come.
Bring it. Let's get to work.
Time to shine. Try this. Wonderful.
Good try.
Uh-oh.
Rone.
Try this. Wonderful.
Can't be.
Yep, and when these bosses come up, and although we have some speedrun strategies of hired help and other options, it really does take a bit to make sure you get it all going well. Alright, very easy.
Super
One,
quick
that
fight.
was- That was 2 in the Seekers, as Xazu gets to mark
Yep.
that off, and with that, we are tied up at 10 goals each. If Hina can make it through the Dulcinea fight, then that's another goal. Maybe Xazu will pick up some other goals here or there.
Prepare yourself. My blade sings.
All right.
My turn. You're too kind.
I'm just getting warmed up. Coming right up.
Thank you. Try this. Audition. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Let's get to work.
And as has been mentioned, if they're in the middle of a fight, they do get to finish it off, and that includes this 2-phase fight,
Bad.
or
We're
they
just
get to go
getting
as long as they don't die.
Here I come. I fight for my friends.
So we might see,
Come.
just taking their time, playing carefully so that they don't die at any point and can continue the fight, see if they can get that last goal.
Let's do it. Let's get to work.
Playtime is over.
Storm rage.
Zazu's play for this has been paying off pretty well.
And so it goes.
It might be worthwhile for Xazu to transition and just go for the guaranteed goal of Behemoth, but maybe we're just going to check what's at the top of the tower. While we're here. If you can reach the
You never know.
in time, then that can also go there.
Yeehaw!
Looks like Xazu's just spamming attacks and hoping for a quick death.
Let's get to work.
Hina back onto Leviathan,
Ready?
see how well it goes. Mostly just need to make sure you go into the break on the Leviathan, but then fight with really good BP on all of your merchants.
My blade
You can get
sings.
a huge amount of damage in. So it has a
Ready.
very large health pool.
Watch me.
Yep, and Xazu is going for Behemoth. We'll see if he can make it there in time.
Cleaning time.
Got a minute and a half.
I fight for my friends. Come.
Let's not forget to pick
I'm
up the
just
thief
getting
license. No,
warmed
we're
up.
not going to Behemoth. Okay.
Oh,
I got more grit.
That's not enough time was the judgment. He would have been very
Let's
close.
get to work.
You just take 2 more encounters on the way there, and if you get stuck in
What
one
to
for a while,
do?
it's a little risky. Even just the walk there is nearly the minute. So we're looking for any possible rusted
Hang in
weapons
there.
or
Many thanks.
combinations like that.
It's my turn now.
Now, he did get Tin Toy somewhere recently. Maybe he has another inventor, right? I'm not sure though. And he might not be sure. Maybe he's just checking to see if he has it, because that would be a step ahead. To get another invention.
Let's get to work.
Be sure to lychee on that one, I think it
I'll
is.
end this.
That's
Come.
The second item, or not the second, the third item was missing as well, I think.
okay, yeah.
That is unfortunate.
You might be able to see what the boss is for this devilish delight one.
Tell me
Again,
how
this
this
might
is
count
what
requests,
to
but
do.
you can get to the boss and it rolls to something nice.
We're just
Like
getting
Sand Lion.
started.
And that is another option.
Here goes. Let's get to work. Come
Of course,
We are not
Geene
getting
still
to
does
the
have to
boss.
win the Leviathan fight. He's now into a second break. Has to get through those 13 shields.
Prepare you. I'll end this.
We have hit the 2-hour mark. You might
Come.
be generous to Xazu and just let him have a peek at it.
Fight dirty.
It can't end.
That's not going to be a goal
Ready?
for
It
Xazu.
is, yeah, not anything.
Yep, so we'll see if Geene can finish up this Leviathan fight.
Much appreciated.
I'm just getting warmed up. Bring it on.
We have some questions, and of course if you need to, you can
Let's get
rewatch
to
the
work.
VODs for the videos, but it's mostly collecting a bunch of different items, doing a lot of key item checks. This is a key item randomizer. The skills themselves are not randomized. You are guaranteed to be able to progress though.
I've got
It does seem like Geene has died in the Leviathan fight, and so that wraps things up. 10 goals each. Would you look at that?
Wow.
Xazu's fight for
GG.
Hikari 5. Yep. Good games, everyone.
That was
Xazu
a
with the
really,
comeback.
really cool demonstration there. Very
Alright.
unfortunate no last minute comeback for on the Leviathan fight, but
Oh man.
hello everybody.
Just a little bit more
Hello.
money.
Oh, that was good. Okay, so when I went for Hikari 5, I remembered that it was on the board, but it wasn't on the board, and I noticed it when I was on the Shadow Hikari fight.
Oh no.
But I did get a bunch of stuff from it from the tower.
It
so-
worked out. It worked out really
Yeah.
well.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that was a really, really good demonstration from both of you guys. Well done.
Yeah, it was fun. I hope chat enjoyed as well.
I hope they witness the brokenness of Beaslings.
Alright, I think that wraps things up.
Yep, for us.
Into the next run will be all advanced weapons, which we saw quite a few of those fight areas in this run as well, and a lot of the same sort of runners. There'll be Yuna, myself, and Xazu on commentary.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Alright, we'll look forward to that, everyone, and we'll just get things set on up. And thanks again to the runners for an excellent performance.
Thank
Good
you
job to
for
both
the
of you.
commentary.